I mean, I did like Burned to Death and like Buried Alive. I think I really like ways
I'm like a
of murder.
I'm a
Locations. I like styles of death.
Styles. Yeah. Yeah. Good. We've got it covered. I like that we have different, different things.
I told Sam I was really sad that flaying is probably off the table because we did the biggest flayings already. Like we did Catherine Knight, and I already did an Ayanna Kassian from up here,
Yeah.
I'm like, already
so gnarly.
The biggest flayings are taken care of.
Fucked up.
That's the only case I can think of where someone was flayed alive.
That's so gnarly. I mean, that we know of. I'm sure it's happened.
Oh no, there's definitely more.
I mean, like Robert Burdella, the Patreon I have. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. It's fucked up.
If you go back far enough, I mean, that used to happen all the time.
Yeah, it was like a normal.
There's paintings about it. Yeah.
That's so fucked.
One of my favorite paintings to teach is the guy getting flayed alive, and my students would be like,
"You're like, let me tell you more.
Welcome to history."
Ugh. Okay, let's do this. Okay, here we go. Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready. Okay, let's do it. Hey, Twisted listeners. I'm Cindy.
And I'm Diva.
And this is Twisted Listeners, a podcast about murder
and lists.
And I'm considering leaving all of that in at the beginning here. I feel like I like it when we're just like hanging out chatting. I feel like we have our best shit.
And I was chatting about flaying as well.
Yeah,
so
love a good flaying.
I was going to tell you that there is also, I think it's China has like a death by 1,000 cuts where it's like a special form of flaying where they cut you like just a little bit of skin and then like leave you and they come back and just cut like a little bit more.
Is that capitalist propaganda or is that real?
No. Oh no. This is olden times China. I mean, I think they did it up until like the early 20th century, but
I believe it.
No, they have had gnarly capital punishment.
Of course. Like I mean, they still do. They fucking still do.
It's just important that you always say Europe did just as insane, if not more insane things.
Yeah.
You just equal.
Yeah, equally. Agreed.
Yeah.
Just got to qualify it. Anyway, this is part 2. Of small town murders.
Small towns. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thanks, guys. Our numbers are looking real good. Everybody's listening in, which is great. I am no longer like half alive. I'm fully alive. I'm still really stuffed up. Like I'm getting the sympathy now. And I'm like, no, I'm fine. But like when I was sick, I didn't sound sick. So everybody was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, why are you like
You seem better though. You seem like you have a little more, 10% more like energy, 20%.
Yeah. No. I mean, I'm never at 100% of like a normal person's energy.
More,
for me,
more
I'm
than you did.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. That's an improvement.
But like now I sound worse. So everybody's like, are you okay? And I'm like, where the fuck were you with your sympathy last week when I was like dying?
Oh my gosh.
It's fine though. It's fine. Guys, we're going to do a new Patreon soon. The murder map is constantly being updated. Join us there, patreon.com/twistedlisters. Join us on Instagram for your daily dose of true crime news. Where do they do that, my friend?
Oh, Twisted Listers PCast. And I was going to say, she picked some very choice stuff too. It's well curated, if you will.
Thank you. There's days where the true crime news is a little slow, and so I'll just pick something because I'm like, I want to put a story up. I took a couple days off. I felt like we were so inundated with stories that I was like, I'm just gonna like let the shit settle. But yeah, I did a little update on the Petito sitch. We got the Davis serial killer. So
those laundry parents are garbage.
I fucking called that shit long ago.
I mean, it makes sense. They raised a garbage son, so
yeah,
it tracks. Yeah,
there is zero doubt, and has at all points. I've never once doubted that they knew she was dead when he came home. That quote unquote camping trip they took was fucking bullshit. Just a fucking front. Like, those people are shit. And
some folks are saying they should be charged with stuff, and maybe they should.
I mean, depending if they can get anything on them for accessory after the fact or something, concealing, I don't know. I think they absolutely deserve it if they did that, because what the fucking fuck?
It would be a nice gesture at least to have like something on their records to show that they're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be good. I mean, the nation knows. All of our opinions are bad.
That's true.
But Anyway, all right. So I guess we should just jump in. Is that what we
Small
should do?
towns.
Should we
Yeah, I
do
think
it?
it's you first this
It's
time,
me
right?
first.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I'm gonna do the below murders. And
Yeah.
here's the thing. I think it's below. I think you're supposed to say
Mm,
below supermarket because it's below, like they're
really?
saying it's below pricing.
I really
Yeah.
want to say below. Like in my
They
heart,
definitely set you up to say it that way.
it feels like you should say below.
Yeah, no, your heart and my heart are in the same place here
Okay.
because it should be below, below. But think about it. It's a play on words. They're trying to
Right.
say it's below. Or
I
maybe
think both
they're trying
can
to say like we're trying to be low. We're trying to
I
be
think
low.
yeah, exactly. Be low in our pricing. I think you can do it both ways. I think it can be mean below, but you say it like cute, like be low.
Yeah, I see that. What I think really happened is that buy low was already taken and they were like, well, fuck. What's the next
Okay.
best thing? And they decided that was this.
Okay.
Anyway, now we've got that out of the way. These murders take place on June 6th of 1993 when I was 10 and a half years old.
Hmm.
Old as fuck. This happened in Windsor, North Carolina. Windsor currently has about 3,400 people. Currently.
Okay.
Sorry, guys, I muted a cough. But in 1993, there was a whopping 2,300. Not even quite that
Oof.
many.
It was very
So
small.
very fucking small, very small town. Everybody knows everybody,
This
obviously.
store is probably like the store that they have.
It is, in fact, the store.
Yeah.
And everybody knows everybody. And that's why this case is so weird and frustrating in some ways, because when you're in a community where like you literally know every person who you're going to see every day, you're going to see the same people. Um, it's just interesting how something like this happens. So anyway, on this day, June 6th, around 6 p.m., which PS 666. If I were like a weird Christian, I'd be
Mhm.
like, and that is why this happened. But no.
The
Um,
devil did it.
the devil. So June 6th, 1993, around 6 p.m. at this Be-Low supermarket, which was a chain, by the way, it closed for the day, which the supermarket closed at 6 p.m. Like, I just want to talk about how only in a small town that would ever be the case, that like the main source for like grocery shopping and food would close at 6 p.m.
Oh my God.
Like, I get mad if I try to go to like Sprouts at like 10 p.m. and they're
Dude,
closed. I'm
that's
like,
how I felt in Santa Barbara. Not probably not the grocery store, but like tons of stuff closed at 6 or 7. And I was
oh
like,
my God,
what
yeah.
is this?
Living in Bend, Oregon, I was like,
Mhm.
there's a couple bars that are open, but basically anything
Yeah.
after 8 p.m., like if you want to eat dinner, like you're eating at like
Yes.
6. Like
Yeah.
otherwise
I
you're
hate that.
fucked. Like
I hate that. I like
it's
to eat
so
late
weird.
sometimes. So
Weirdly, also in Bend, there was like one pizza place that delivered. Pizza delivery was just not a thing.
that's horrible.
Isn't that it's weird
That's a
more than
life
anything.
essential to
Yeah,
have.
no pizza places delivered. It was
Ugh,
very,
especially in
very weird.
pandemic times, that was a life essential,
Yeah, I was like,
you know.
y'all are dropping the ball.
Wow.
Anyway, small town shit. I've had a lot of experience in them
Hmm.
and not much of it was great. Anyway, so it's 6 p.m. The closing manager, who I think was going to be there not much later that evening. I think he was there to basically like watch a cleaning crew. He's closing up the store. He does his rounds. He checks and makes sure all of the customers are out of the store. This man was 47-year-old father and store manager Grover Lee Bud Cecil Jr. So this guy goes by Bud, but he's a junior. And I find it really interesting. There's like, I think, 4 juniors in this story.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
That's a running joke, by the way, on the podcast Small Town Murder. Everyone in all of the small town murders they cover, they're all
they're
juniors.
all juniors.
Hmm.
Okay, because I was like, what
It's a
is up
small
with
town
this?
thing.
It's
Yeah.
a small town thing. Okay. I have not lived in a town that small because this is
Okay.
new to me. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, as I was researching, I was like, wait, is this the same guy? Because this is a
Everyone's a
junior. And
junior.
like,
Yeah.
you don't meet that many juniors. But apparently, I'm just living in the wrong towns or the right
Hmm.
ones, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, so Bud here is closing the store along with one other employee, 36-year-old mother, Joyce Coburn Reason. And for whatever reason on this day, and this may have actually, as I was researching, I was like, oh, maybe they were closing earlier than normal today for some reason, but they had like a four-person cleaning crew come in. And I think
Okay.
they did have cleaning crews come in pretty regularly, but I don't know if they had four people come into this store like every day. So it may have been that they're like closing up to do something extra, like I don't know. But in any case, there's these two, supermarket employees and then four people from the cleaning crew. These four people are 48-year-old Thomas E. Hardy, 40-year-old Sylvester Welch Jr.
Junior.
There's the junior. Here's another one. 48-year-old Johnny Rankins Jr. and Jasper Hardy Jr., whose age I could not find, and I don't know if he's related to Thomas Hardy, but I'm gonna say probably.
Okay.
So we have six people in this store. It's now about 6:15 p.m. They're going about their business, getting ready to do whatever they have to do before they go home or clean or whatever. And suddenly, out of nowhere, a man comes out of hiding from inside the store. He's been hiding in the store,
Oh my gosh.
waiting for them to close up. And he takes Bud and Joyce hostage by pulling a 45 caliber gun on them. As soon as he had them under control, he tells them to go get the others in the store. They round up three members of the cleaning crew, and this man asks where the fourth member is. So he's been paying attention.
Yeah, he knows exactly who should be there, who he's been counting.
Yep, he's
Yeah.
been counting. Now, whether this means he's been watching for a long time or if he just paid very close attention on this day, we don't know. But either way, this is definitely like a calculated thing, which I think is important to note. So once all these people are rounded up, he forces them all towards the back of the store away from the windows, and he makes Bud tie up the other five people using duct tape to tie their hands and legs. He then, this man, then ties Bud up and forces the hostages to lie on top of one another in three stacks of two people. So it's like Bud is on top of one of the cleaning crew guys, Joyce is on top of one of the cleaning crew guys, and then two other cleaning crew guys are on top of each other.
Stacked. This
So they're
like happened before? Was it like in the Austin yogurt shop? There was some other workplace massacre where they were stacked.
yeah, I don't remember which one, but I was like, "Fuck!"
This happened before.
Yes, it's a thing, and I don't
Yeah.
know if it happened before or after this one because, yeah. Also, as these cases get older, they're harder to find the information, like the specific
Yeah.
information. In any case, so he gets these six people into three piles. What is his name? Gus? Why did I just want to call him Gus? Bud. Like it's a three-letter old school name. So he shoots Bud, he shoots Joyce, and then he shoots one of the cleaning crew as well. And it's not he shoots which cleaning crew guy? Not the Hardys, but Sylvester Welch and Johnny
Okay.
Rankins. Sylvester Welch and Johnny Rankins. So those are the two that he shoots. So then his gun jams. So he shot two piles of people, right? So he's shooting through and like killing one and then killing the other. And then his gun jams and he gets like really upset. So he pulls one of the cleaning guys and he stabs him in the back and like cuts his neck. And this is Jasper Hardy that he attacks. So he shot four, stabbed this guy, and then super fucking weirdly, he just leaves Thomas Hardy alone. And he says to him, "I'm gonna let you live, big man."
Okay. Very odd.
And I don't know if they had like if they had like something on their eyes, if they couldn't see, but Thomas Hardy later was like, "I can't identify him. Like, I don't know who he was." Now, I don't know if it meant like I can't identify him, like I've never seen him before, or if he couldn't like describe him, because there
Yeah.
is a like a sketch of this guy. So I don't know why he left this guy, let him
Okay.
live.
Well, where's the sketch from? Is it from other witnesses or from
I mean,
these?
it's from him.
From
So
him.
it was just weird the way that I see it written. They're like,
Okay.
he can't identify him. But it's like, why would he be able like it's just weird because if it's a stranger, which I guess it just means I guess what they're trying to say is it's a stranger. I guess that's what they're going
Yeah. Yeah. He
with.
didn't know
Stranger.
who he was.
Yeah. So what's interesting about this is that he stole $3,000 from the store, but he didn't have to kill these people because if this one guy doesn't know who he is, chances are none of them do. Because again, they're
Yeah.
all from this really
No.
small town. So he's killing these people because he wants to. Like
Yeah.
it's
There's
almost
there's
like,
not a reason for like identification purposes.
no, I think he just wants to kill them.
Right.
And I think the fact that he let Thomas Hardy live was just just like random. He was
Yeah.
just like, well, today's your lucky day. I was gonna fucking kill you, but my gun jammed. I stabbed the other guy. Maybe he didn't like the stabbing. Like
Mm,
maybe people like I've definitely heard of people when they like stab somebody or kill somebody, they're like, I actually really hated it. Like I thought I would enjoy it. I didn't think it would bother me, and it was like way fucked up.
mm-hmm.
So maybe that happened. In any case, Bud, Joyce, and Johnny Rankins Jr. all died, and they all died at the scene. Jasper Hardy, who was stabbed, Sylvester Welch was shot but didn't die. Jasper Hardy, who was stabbed, was able to free himself because he was so bloody. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pause
Okay.
this. Okay. Sorry guys, I had to sniffle really big. Okay, so anyway, Sylvester Welch gets shot, Jasper Hardy gets stabbed, Thomas Hardy gets left completely alone. And Johnny Rankins. Johnny Rankins and Sylvester get shot, Jasper gets stabbed, Thomas gets left alone. The two the store clerks, Joyce and Bud, are both shot. Joyce, Bud, and Johnny Rankins all die.
Okay.
Jasper Hardy is shot, or is stabbed, sorry, and I think he's the one who's able to actually, because he's so bloody, because he's bleeding
Mm-hmm.
on himself, it loosens the duct tape around his hands, and he's able to crawl to the front of the store and get on the phone to call for help.
Mm,
When police arrive, obviously it's a crazy fucking scene. There's blood everywhere.
yeah, it's a massacre.
It's a massacre. And like I said, Bud dies, who's a father. It's fucking terrible. Joyce, who's a mother of two, dies. And Johnny Rankins Jr., I don't know his family situation, but he's 48 years old. He's a junior. He's got family somewhere,
Yeah, for sure.
also dies. Sylvester and Jasper are in critical condition. They do both survive.
Okay.
And Thomas Hardy just fucking sitting there like untouched, just
Wow.
really fucking traumatized, but untouched. So what police find
Yeah.
out is that the man told them, I'm a former cop. I lost my job. I have nothing to lose.
Wow.
That he, was really meticulous in the way that he lined them all up. So police immediately start kind of investigating this, cop thing. They're like, okay, he straight up said he was a cop. He was very meticulous. He was calm. So maybe he really.
Mm-hmm.
They also got just like a picture of him. What the fuck is that called? A sketch. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
They got a sketch of him. My brain is like not working. They got a sketch of him from these guys, and he is a black man. He's got like a military, like high and tight cut, like very, very
Uh-huh.
military style. He has a long face with like a big jaw, and he has like one of those weird like hook noses that has the bump at the top. Either like it was broken
It's a
or
super distinctive nose. Yeah, I don't
super
know.
distinctive.
Yeah, if that sketch is accurate, then like this guy is very distinctive looking for sure.
Very fucking distinctive looking,
Yeah.
which is another thing that's really interesting about this. So police have this sketch. The haircut matches the cop thing. The fact that he said he's a cop matches the cop thing. The fact that he was meticulous kind of matches the cop thing. But as they start looking into it more, they're like, cops don't carry 45s.
Mm,
Cops generally know to carry more than one round of ammunition on them. So if he
yeah.
ran out, and they actually thought maybe his gun didn't jam, but that he just ran out of ammo. So they're like, that's a
Mhm.
pretty rookie move. A cop probably wouldn't have done that. So they're kind of running down this lead, but as they kind of research it more, they're basically like, no, we don't think that was it. Now, like I said, these people cannot identify him. Nobody can. Like they can tell you what he looks like, but nobody's ever seen him. So people start to think like, was he just coming through town?
Yeah.
Was it this fucking random? But because it was so well planned, because he knew like who was in the store, they think maybe that's not the case.
Or
So
maybe he was just stalking them just long enough to know that
exactly.
shit.
Yeah.
But like maybe it seems like with that small of a town like vibe that he probably was not, for at least from that town.
Right.
you
Well, what's
know?
really interesting is from what I've read, nobody like saw him go into the store. And
Mm,
it's interesting to me if this guy is not from that town and he's that fucking distinct looking, how did he make his way in there without anybody noticing? How did nobody, like, see the car he was driving or, like, you know what I mean? And actually, there
yeah.
were people who did see the car he was driving after the fact, but what I'm saying and they saw him driving towards, like, out of town, but what I'm saying is, why did nobody notice him coming in? Like, I feel like there would be more witnesses to somebody who's not local. Small
Yeah.
towns, like, if somebody comes into your town that you've never seen before, like, that's a big day. Like, that's,
Yeah.
something
For
people
sure.
are
People
talking
turn their
about.
heads. It's a whole cliche. Yeah.
And a super distinct looking black man in, like, North
Yeah.
Carolina, like, I feel like I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm wrong in thinking that, but in any case, the 3 survivors all, the 2 of them recovered, the 3rd I mean, at least physically.
Right.
But to this day, this man has not been caught. It is
That's
still an
crazy.
open and active investigation. There was another similar murder, like double murder at a supermarket, like not that long after, not that far away, and kind of in the general direction he was last seen driving. But
Mm,
they caught the guy who did that one, and he was definitively like excluded. Like he's
okay.
definitely not the guy who did this. So that's it, man. That's the fucking story. I almost didn't do this one because it's pretty fucking, like, short, um,
Mhm.
but nobody fucking knows who he is, and to this day, there's a $30,000 reward for any information
Wow.
to his arrest.
Still.
Still.
Yeah. That could be
Uh,
I mean, it's I don't want to say I like cases like that, but I always find it interesting though when you have like it's right up there with like Lane Bryant or
yes.
Austin Yogurt Shop. There's like these weird like mysterious workplace murders where like a whole bunch
Yeah.
of coworkers are just massacred on the job and then the person's just gone.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's really fucking
insane.
weird.
That
Yeah, and
genre is insane.
Yeah, and I feel like because they don't have, like, any DNA evidence to go on, they're really overanalyzing things that he did, like, trying to figure out, like, if it can help lead which totally makes sense, like, if you don't have any physical evidence or DNA, you're gonna start looking at things to try to figure out what type of person it is, FBI profilers are incredible,
Yeah.
but, like, he did things like rolling the victims individually onto their stomachs after shooting them,
Mhm.
um, it was really weird. But then also, this was another weird thing. He stabbed Jasper so hard that the knife he used broke off in his back. And
Ugh.
he just went and got like a butcher knife from the supermarket. So it's weird that it was completely fucking like off the cuff, my gun jam, so I'm gonna do this, but it was still so over the top violent and like
Mm.
crazy, but he still didn't die. So there's just so many, like, weird things that this guy did and ways that this guy behaved that I feel like it's throwing people off the ability to, like, figure out who he is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's almost, like, multiple, like, MOs and multiple ways of behaving, like, all happening at once, which
Yeah,
I find
it's
really
a
frustrating.
very confusing dude to try to pin down, or
Yeah.
profile or like who is he?
Yeah, and it's like, did he get that haircut so he could say he used to be a cop? Like, is that part of him, like,
Yeah.
throwing them off? Like, because
Just
anybody
happened
can
to
get
look
that haircut.
coppish.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, exactly. And again, because the gun he had wasn't like a cop gun, and he didn't
Right.
seem super prepared in the ways that you would expect a cop to be.
I mean, he could have been a former cop that got like, disgracefully dismissed kind of
That's what
guy,
he said. I mean, that's what he
right?
said. He's like, "I
Yeah,
got fired. I got nothing to lose." But, like,
it's
w
possible.
if that happened, it happened at a police station very far from there because they checked
Right.
into all of that, you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah. That would make him give some identifying things, so it must not be true in that case.
Yeah, no. I
No.
mean I
Interesting.
mean, who knows? It's we've seen so many cases get solved where it was like one little tiny piece of evidence slipped through the crack forever, and
Yeah,
then as soon as somebody was like, "Oh, look at that," it's like, "Case is solved." So, I mean, at this point, I can't rule anything out, but
right.
it's just frustrating because 3 people survived. It's a tiny town, and we still don't know who it is.
That's crazy. I mean, he must just not have been from there and never came back.
Yeah, I mean, but that's so weird to be that, like, violent in murder if it's something that is so impersonal.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
$3,000 isn't even that much.
That's crazy.
Very fucking weird.
It's very strange and
Very,
mysterious.
I could go back and forth on this for like an hour, but I
Yeah.
think people get the point. Like, what
Yeah.
is he a serial killer? Because if he is, he didn't do a great job. Is he a robber? Because if he is, he didn't do a great job.
Mm-mm.
Like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Wow.
Anyway, there it
Also,
is.
just to confuse you further about the
Mhm.
be-lo situation, I think it is also by-lo. And I
No,
think
no. Bilo is different. It's separate. I swear. I checked.
mm,
Because I looked it up and it was like Bilo, Bilo. That's a different chain.
so do you think be-lo is sort of like how we have John's ripping off Vaughn's kind of thing, where they're ripping off by-lo? Because by-lo's bigger.
Maybe.
There's
Yeah, yeah,
tons of by-los that existed.
yes. And
So it must be
Bilo
like Vaughn's and
was
John's.
maybe, yeah, yeah.
John's is the rip off of Vaughn's.
Yeah, but John's is better because they have a lot of like non-American food.
I
So
mean,
like, you what?
no, I know John's is like the Mexican Vaughn's. John's is Mexican Vaughn's.
If you're in East Hollywood, it's the Russian Vons. It's fucking awesome.
Oh,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah, they play to their population. It's great.
Oh.
Anyway, yeah, I think it was like I don't know that they were competitors, but I know that they were both open at the same time and had similar names. But it's not the same company, I swear.
I don't know because I'm looking to find where the be-lo was in Windsor, and I see a former location of a by-lo.
It's not. I'm telling you, it could have been also one of those things where like Bilo bought up the be-lo as like a fuck you.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, because at some
Or
point they must have
be-lo.
gotten conflated because there's no way that Windsor had both the be-lo and a by-lo.
Maybe. Is it the
There's no
Bilo
way.
murders? And I've been no, it's Bilo. It's
No, you're
Bilo.
right.
I'm like,
Just
I'm
I'm saying
telling
at
you.
some point I think by-lo bought them out.
Well, that would make sense. It's an easy fix. You just drop the E and put an I there, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they are different. The Bonnie Below Markets, they used to call it that.
But
Bonnie
then
Below. And they had a Scottish lady trademark.
Food Lion bought by-lo, which is why I was trying to track down what the grocery store would be now. I think it's Food Lion
Dude,
of
Food
Windsor.
Lion is a really good name.
Isn't it?
I have a voracious appetite for food. Like just
Food
general
Lion.
food.
Mhm.
Just generally. Just lots of food. I
Yeah.
like that. I'm
Anyway.
into that.
All
Anyway,
right.
I don't know what the fuck. Sorry, guys. There were a couple moments where I was distracted because I had to snort very loud because I have a lot of snot still happening. So I had to pause. I'll edit out some of my like bigger fumbles, but mostly I was just like trying not to make big snorting sounds into the microphone. So
Great.
there you have it. Sorry.
Thank you, Cindy. All right. Are you ready for a very weird, very trashy, very small towny story?
I live for this.
This is the tale of Michael Reese. This happened in 2015 in Morris, Alabama.
Oh yes. Okay. I don't know where that is, but I know that Morris, Alabama is gonna give us a lot.
It's like a couple thousand people. I didn't get the exact population, but it's like a
Okay.
2,000 people town.
Okay.
Very, very, very small. And this story could not be more small town Alabama if it tried. So Michael Reese was 40 at this time. He worked in IT in a hospital in Birmingham.
Okay.
So a little bit of a commute, but hey, he's not a lot of jobs in Morris, I guess. So he's basically a sweet, lovable computer nerd. People have lots of good things to say about him. Cindy, meanwhile, is going to be his wife. I'm going to get into how they met in just a second. But Cindy is an avid Baptist. She's really into being a Baptist.
Yeah.
Her first husband died by suicide 8 years prior.
Oh, I bet she does not love that on like her religious level mostly.
And Michael was actually divorced once before, so they both kind of had past relationships, and they found each other and hit it off, and they're both really into church stuff, her most of all. They're also like hardcore Disney people.
Oh, come on.
And they had just celebrated their 5th wedding anniversary at this time by going on a second honeymoon to Disney World.
To Disney World, where they worshipped Jesus, I'm sure.
Yeah. They love Jesus and they love Disney.
Okay. My kind of people.
Hey, I like Disneyland. I've never been to the world, but I like the land.
I've never been to the world. I refuse to go to the land because I'm not going to pay like $300 to go on 2 rides and spend the rest of the time waiting in line.
They just need to get Fast Pass back, yo. Their lines are out of control.
Their lines are stupid. Like, who the fuck is going to spend over $100 per person to stand in line all fucking day for like 5 minutes of fun?
Fast Pass was great when they had Fast Pass. It was great.
I used to get in for free because Rory's sister's husband works for Marvel. So he gets free. You can go to Disneyland for free anytime you want. You take all your friends and family. I was like, no, thank you. I would not go to Disneyland for free because I fucking hate waiting in the lines. Anyway.
Well, again, they used to have Fast Pass. It used to be great.
Right. But I do love Jesus, so she's got me there.
She's got you there. Cindy's very devout. Okay.
I am.
So after Cindy and Michael got married in 2010, he joined her church, which is the Sardis Baptist Church in Morris, where she was the music director, and he signs up to become a Baptist. So he's like, all right, sure. He's already churchy. So he's like, okay.
Yeah.
So that's a tiny bit of background about Cindy and Michael. Now I'm going to jump right into the main event here.
Okay.
So Cindy Reese calls 911 on this particular evening and reports that she can't find her husband and her home is in disarray. A table's been knocked over. Things look crazy.
My girl Cindy likes to murder, doesn't she?
So police come from across the street because it's a small fucking town and the police station is across the street. So I don't even know if they have to drive or if they just walk over.
Just like mosey on over.
Yeah. So they just walk over. But they do have to call in county sheriffs because there are not enough of the cops. So eventually a bunch of cops get there, and at the home, these investigators and cops find Michael dead. So Michael had been shot in the back of the head in an area of new construction, kind of in the back of the home.
Okay.
Cindy will say, by the way, that she didn't see him because once she saw the kind of like disheveled house, she didn't want to go in. She just sort of called for him, but she was like, oh, I was scared because it was a robbery, right?
I mean, listen, if I didn't think that she did this, I would be like, that's really smart. I don't want to jump the gun. Sorry if I'm like ruining this.
Cindy's like jumping all the way in. She's like fully in the deep end of the pool.
I know my Cindy's. I know a Cindy.
From one Cindy to another.
Yeah. From one Cindy to another. But also like, it's like, at least she didn't do the horror movie thing where it's like, oh my God, it looks like there's a serial killer in here. I'll go check. Like, she didn't do that. So like, that's smart.
That is true.
Yeah.
So the home is indeed disheveled, as if a burglar or someone had like ransacked the home. They also find a bag of fast food sitting on a table, which Cindy says she got for them for dinner and dropped off at the house, but then she had to leave to go to the store. And we're going to loop back to that again. So just put a pin in that.
Okay.
But when they interview Cindy, she seems, I'm going to say, kind of upset.
Okay.
How I'm going to describe it, moderately upset. She says she doesn't know if he has any enemies, the usual stuff. Kind of acts like I have no clue. But eventually, detectives ask her about a rumor, because this is, again, a small town. And the rumor's like, just floating in the air. They all know it, even the detectives. And they ask about this rumor that she had been seen having, let's say, intimate relations with a man who was not Michael in a pest control truck in a parking lot.
That is so... Oh my God.
Yep. So the man she was alleged to have been cheating with in this alleged incident was the pastor of the Baptist church, Pastor Jeff.
This feels so right. This feels so right to me.
Yes, Pastor Jeff Brown.
Jeff.
And Pastor Jeff was also married with 2 kids, and his wife was pregnant.
Oh, come on. That's so fucked up.
Yep. So Cindy had apparently addressed these rumors herself to various people as they had come up and dismissed them as being ridiculous. But her cousin, who's interviewed for some of these things, starts to be suspicious when she started noticing that her Cindy was spending more and more time with Jeff, and she's like, that's weird. If you're like not involved, then why are you like buddies?
Right. Interesting.
So when
it's an interesting way to like quash a rumor, is to like really lean into it.
Be their best friend.
Yeah.
So when they keep pressing her about it, Cindy basically admits that she and Michael were having marital problems. They had issues with being physically affectionate with each other. This is according to her. And she says that she confided about these problems in Pastor Jeff. Gradually, she says that they fell in love.
Of course they did.
But she's adamant they never had sex in the parking lot.
They never had sex in the parking lot in a pest control van or whatever the fuck.
But she admits that the affair was happening.
Oh, she
So,
does.
yeah, but just not in the
Just not in
parking lot.
the parking lot.
Yeah.
Okay, she's got her standards.
That's the line, if you want to draw that line. So she describes how essentially the church elders got so intense about these rumors, which again are maybe true, that she left the church, and that Jeff was later fired from being pastor. Because you can't be a cheating Baptist minister. It's not allowed.
No, that's not a thing. Yeah,
literally
Baptist
goes against
especially.
the job description. Like it doesn't work.
Yeah.
So Pastor Jeff, had actually started filing for a divorce from his, pregnant wife.
Oh, so fucked.
Mm-hmm. And Cindy claims that she had told Michael about the affair, and despite all of this, they were trying to make their relationship work.
Of course. And where is he to tell them that's not true?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
So the investigators naturally pull up and grab Mr. Jeff here for some interviewing. He admits to the affair as well. And he actually is like quite spicy about all of this. And he kind of says that he's a little bit spicy at Cindy. He says that he resents it, that they were kind of quote unquote working things out because he was getting the divorce, right?
Right.
Side note, just about Pastor Jeff. He is a former Marine and a former cop and a former hairdresser, and he works in pest control, and he works in a moving company.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So he has like 6 jobs?
Well, he used to be a Marine and a cop.
Oh,
and a hairdresser.
Okay. That's a weird group right there. Like,
I think the present-ish jobs were moving and pest control.
Okay.
And pastor.
Okay. One of these things is not like the other. It's hairdresser. Like, where the fuck did that come in?
Yeah.
That is fucking bizarre.
Yeah. So he's a jack of all trades. So people around town, like, for being a pastor, all these small town people that are interviewed on fucking Dateline have nothing good to say about him. They're like, fuck Pastor Jeff.
Wow.
They all say he had other affairs with other women in town. And this being a small town, that shit is gonna get out.
Yeah, you can't do shit in a small town without everybody knowing.
Yeah, and they basically described him as being really blatant about it, like totally unashamed, like a kind of a ladies' man, despite just being married.
And just like not caring if anybody, like, who knew? Okay.
Yeah,
that's a good look.
Some people describe him as a con man. And he also weirdly would act out with Cindy and Michael while they were in church for church services. One time, this is hard to imagine, but I guess he sat between them so that they couldn't sit next to each other.
That's a weird power move.
That's very strange.
Weird flaunting it in his face thing. That's intentional, and he's trying to cause drama, and he's trying to be
yes.
That's
he's very petty and dramatic. Yeah,
he is. He sounds kind of like a fucking punk.
Yes, he is. So investigators also learn when they do a little more investigating that a month prior to Michael's death here, Pastor Jeff offered 2 of his coworkers at the moving company his car and some sum of money if they would kill Michael.
Oh, just that.
They reported that. They didn't do that, obviously.
Oh, did they report it before Michael was found dead, or did they report it after?
But they reported it before, but to a different police agency.
Okay.
Different district or whatever. So they weren't talking.
And then that district didn't really find it necessary to follow up or tell the district
with the cops where he lived. Right.
Yeah. Smart. Way to go, cops. It's weird how every single story you can find somewhere where it's it's kind of the cops' fault.
Mm-hmm. There's always a little bit, a little splash, a little sprinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So investigators also re-examine some issues with Cindy's original story. So let's unpack them. Namely, they realized that based on where Michael's body was, and they show the body in the show, and it's you can literally see it the second you open the door. You have a direct line.
So there's no way she didn't see it. There's no way
she missed it. Even if she didn't enter the house, she could have seen the body.
Got it. Nice.
So yeah, there's also no real sign of burglary. It's very splish splash, moving things around, but nothing's actually stolen. Mm-hmm. And there's no signs of forced entry. And this is the best one. This is honestly one of my favorite pieces of evidence I've heard in a case in a long time. So detectives also call BS on a detail about the fast food, because Cindy said that she got them fast food dinner from Milo's Hamburgers, and dropped it off, right? And then rushed off to the store to get to the Piggly Wiggly, specifically, to get deli meat and orange juice.
Piggly Wiggly! Why don't
So
stores like that make it? Anyway, okay.
there's still Piggly Wiggly. I'm pretty sure it's
Are
not
there?
gone. Oh
I
yeah.
hope so.
Oh
I
yeah.
truly hope so.
It's just not in our area.
Okay.
But the first reason is that it's weird is that they have a fuck ton of deli meat and orange juice already. So why did you have to go get it?
Yeah.
Secondly, and this is my favorite thing in the world, the detectives all are in like sound and somber, firm agreement that Milo's is a beloved regional fast food place that has apparently incredible fries, and apparently it's a known thing in the area that you eat the fries from Milo's right fucking away while they're hot. You do not leave them.
Okay, so
Ever.
I love that there's like everybody knows this small
Yes.
town shit that's like helping solve this case. Like that
Yes.
makes me really I love that.
Yes. They're all like shocked and appalled. She would even think to eat the fries cold.
They're like, you're a fucking liar, ma'am.
Yeah.
Nobody does that in our town.
Yeah, exactly.
I love
exactly.
that.
Yes.
That's some like Columbo shit, you know? They're like they figure it out like
Also, I want to go try that now because I love a good fry.
Yeah.
They look really good too when they showed them. Also, but generally, it also doesn't make sense to me, regardless of the Milo specificity. It doesn't generally make sense to get hot food, drop it off, and then immediately go. You know what I mean? Like go to the store. Like just eat your fast food.
Like if there's something that you desperately need before the store closes, maybe I sort of understand, kind of. But also, like she just bought more of what she already had.
So it's also fast food. What does it take? 3 minutes to scarf down? Like just eat it. You know?
Right. You're not like having like a 3-course gourmet meal.
Right. Anyway, so I love that detail. Yeah. So Cindy's story gets even dumber when we remember another detail, because she said that on the way to get this purported deli meat and orange juice, Pastor Jeff called and said he left his wallet at home, but he needed gas. So she met him at a gas station to hand him $15 in cash.
Meanwhile, those fries are getting ice fucking cold.
Ice cold.
And why the fuck did he call her for money? He's got a wife. Like
we will loop back to that. Well, he's getting divorced from the wife, remember?
Right. Okay. Well,
he's divorcing her. She's not giving him shit.
Yeah, that still feels interesting.
So things get even wilder when they search Cindy's office, which, by the way, on the fucking desk, she has 2 whole ass framed pictures. One of her and Michael, the other of her and Pastor Jeff.
Okay.
Like,
I mean, she could be like, he's my link to God, I suppose, but not in the light of all the like these people are so fucking bold, dude.
Very bold.
They are just
both
like
them,
we give 0 fucks. Like
And in her little file cabinet, her papers, they find financial records showing that pretty much post-divorce proceedings, Cindy was paying for Jeff's car, apartment, and basically entire life.
Oh my God.
So she's trying to make the marriage work with Michael?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Why are you doing that?
Also, this guy sounds like a fucking grifter. Like,
getting
her to pay for all his shit and like, this guy sounds like
super manipulative.
Yeah.
Con man is right. Yeah. So they definitely were not trying to make the marriage work, because detectives also find a mountain, just wheelbarrows worth of sexting and sexy pictures exchanged between Cindy and Pastor Jeff all the way up until the murder. Probably like really all the way up.
Maybe like day of. I love how spicy he was. Like, I'm really mad that they're trying to work it out. Like they thought about it at least a little bit. They tried to have the same story.
Yeah.
They're very dumb, but at least they have that.
Also in those text records, they see that Jeff texts Cindy the night of the murder, quote unquote, keep me posted.
About what, sir? Like
nothing, I guess. And then after she basically called and kind of kept him on the line, kind of like called and like boop, 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 turned the phone over kind of thing.
Yeah.
So he could listen for about 30 minutes up until and through the murder.
Okay. And they think that cops aren't going to check that shit? Like what? Where do they, I mean, I get it. This is a small town. It's not.
Yeah.
This is
so based on the mountains of evidence from these bold ass people, prosecutors put together a case of like, here's what's actually happening. What actually happened. after church, they went to church that night. Cindy and Michael got home with the Milos and the amazing fries. She dumps it out, doesn't eat anything, right? Then she pretty much shot him right away. As soon as he was walking back to the back of the house to take their dog out.
She just went for it. She didn't even, no warning, no hesitation, just fucking murdered him. Wow.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Pastor Jeff was lying in wait outside the house for her. So he was like hiding around the corner.
Okay.
And she had the phone line open to him the whole time. And she had it on actually as she was calling 911, which this is amazing. And I had no fucking clue about this. Maybe you already did. But I guess 911 records you as you wait for them to answer.
Yeah, it records like right away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so she can actually be heard calmly telling Jeff that her phone's about to die. And then you can hear her voice completely switch to fake upset.
Yeah. I think they do that because, first of all, it's really cool that they can do that, like that technology. Yeah. But I think they do it in case people are calling like while they're being attacked, like during the commission of crime. So if there's any evidence or to hear it, like they'll have that. It's pretty fucking awesome. But also, that's rad. What a fucking idiot.
Yes. So Jeff's cell phone records put him in the general area of the house, so like close enough. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like he had an alibi, he wasn't far away.
Right.
But because of the way Alabama law works, if you're lying in wait, you're equally as guilty. So they're kind of in this boat together.
Okay.
So with their case fully together, they arrest Cindy and Jeff. And wouldn't you know it, Mr. Jeff here is the first to flip on Cindy. Mm-hmm. Kind of out for himself here, no loyalty to his love.
I can't do hard time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's gonna, because he pleads in exchange for flipping, he gets to plead guilty to manslaughter in exchange for 20 years.
I mean, okay. On the one hand, he didn't actually do it, right? So fine. But I mean, I feel like he's getting off light.
Yes, very much.
Alabama, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually like shit talk on Alabama at the end here for a minute.
Okay,
cool. To just put these sentences in context. Yeah. So at trial, Jeff claimed that he wasn't lying in wait, but rather he was at a local gas station. So basically, he was like, "Oh no, I was lying in wait, but like further away."
Like it really was at a gas station. Like that part's true.
Yeah. So he still admits to kind of knowing what was going to happen, but he just puts himself a bit further away.
Like I wasn't lying in wait. Like I was basically at my house just knowing it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. Which is interesting. It's an interesting distinction that if he actually is just like out somewhere waiting for the murder to be done or versus outside, waiting at home.
Why is it that different? Yeah.
Yeah. Why is that lying in wait? But like if he was at home just knowing it was going to happen, it would have been like a different thing. It's an interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of because it's kind of same to me because if you could save someone's life, you could save someone's life, and you didn't.
Right.
So same end result. Yeah. Her defense is basically that Jeff did it alone, and her lawyers have like their only point that they kind of have is that the angle at which the bullets entered Michael's head were like too high, so Cindy was too short. But it's all kind of nonsense. They also they don't have much of a case. And the jury's like, nah.
Yeah.
And it only takes about 90 minutes for a jury to convict Cindy of the murder in 2017. I couldn't find what degree, but it sure as fuck should have been first.
Right.
But she gets a 40-year sentence.
Oh. So
40 years and 20 years is what these two people get. Uh-huh. And listen, I'm not for long prison sentences. That's not a thing I support in general. However, because we're in Alabama, I just wanted to look up. I wanted to look up a few fun facts for you about what sentences look like for weed possession in Alabama.
Oh, diva! So, come on, I was just enjoing this.
just to put 40 years for murder for shooting someone in the back of the head and 20 years for like being part of a murder. Just to fluff this context out. So in Alabama, you can get up to 99 years in prison for selling weed to a minor. You can get 20 years for selling weed in general to anyone. And if you have previous felonies, you can get life in prison for having over an ounce of weed possession.
Like even if it's not separated into baggies for sale?
No.
In 2020, laws aren't for like non-white poor people or anything.
In 2021, a man was sentenced to life in prison. A black man was sentenced to life in prison for having 1.5 ounces of weed because he was a felon.
That probably from weed. He was probably a felon because of weed. God,
I'm
Ugh.
sorry to do that to you, but I just have to say it because it puts the 40 years for murder in like a better light or more clear
Well,
light
she is
here.
a white woman, you
Yes.
know. I
Yeah.
mean, we
A
can't have it going
Baptist
away
white
forever.
woman.
She's a Baptist, obviously very
Mm.
devout. She's very, very godly, very godly.
If she was white, but she was like a gothic satanic teenager, it would be a little different, right?
Yeah,
Totally
absolutely
different.
it would. Yep.
Anyway, so just to trash on Alabama law for 1 second. Also, go check out the no, or what's it called, the No Prisoner Project. I'm gonna look it up. So I don't.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of
Last Prisoner Project.
last
Prisoner
prisoner.
Project,
Yeah, there's a
which
lot
is
of
trying
good
to
like
reform those laws
there's a lot of good
or
like
get
prison
rid of them.
reform and
Yeah.
prison abolishment groups
Yeah,
out there.
but I think Last Prisoner Project is
Abolition.
like good because it's like at the very least
Abolitionist. I
people
said
shouldn't be
abolishment.
in jail for weed. It's really stupid.
Yeah, no, they shouldn't. Sorry, I was focused on the fact that I said a word that doesn't exist instead of the right one. And you're like, people shouldn't be in prison for weed. I'm like, I know how. I know good grammar. I have good grammar. I
Yeah.
have good vocabulary.
So back to Cindy here for a minute.
Always.
To conclude, yeah, your other Cindy. In 2019, after serving less than 3 years of her sentence, Cindy was moved to a work release program in the area, where she could just like work in the world, right next to Michael's family, and they weren't told, and they were pretty mad about it.
So wait, does she like go back to the prison to sleep, or is she like
No,
free?
she's in like a work center. It's kind of like a halfway house almost, I think, kind of vibe.
Any reason that they just decided to not make her go to prison for obvious murder?
Well, don't worry too much because I guess because of the outrage, and they admit that it's because of the outrage over this, they just put her back in max security prison.
Good. Why should there be outrage? She fucking straight up murdered her husband because she wanted to be with somebody. Like, there is nothing, like, of all the cases in the world that you could be lenient, this is not one of them.
Yeah.
This does not qualify.
So to conclude, Cindy, who shot her husband in the back of the head in cold blood, will be eligible for parole in 2030. And the guy who had a little bit of weed will not. The end.
Just fuck, dude. Why you gotta take it there?
Sorry.
It's fine. This is what we do. It's important we talk about this.
I think it's one of the worst. I think Alabama is one of the worst as far as those sentences.
Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the bad weed. Oh man. I have friends from Alabama. They're fucking great. I have a really lovely lesbian friend from Alabama who then lived in Davis, my hometown, and now I think lives in like France and does like archaeology.
I mean, those are sensible moves. Those are sensible choices.
Came to LA, went to college in Davis, and then moved to France and is like digging shit up and being smart. So
nice.
Yeah, there are a lot of great people in Alabama.
Yes.
You know, when you read those things where people are like, fuck Texas, like, fuck Alabama, people are like, no, absolutely not. Like, there's good people here. We're fighting the fight. Like, don't just like write us all off. Like,
we're not shitting on the people of Alabama. We're shitting on the people who make the laws.
And Cindy.
and Cindy. And specifically
and
the people that are Pastor Jeff and Cindy, because they suck.
Yeah. They're the fucking worst.
Yeah. Pastor Jeff, man.
What a fucking...
Oof, what a chump.
What a guy. What a guy.
Yeah.
All right. What are we doing next week?
Oh, yeah. I told you already. It's not a shocker, but I like to do ways that people are murdered. And I want to do murder by car. People that got run over by cars. Because it's been around
intentionally run over.
Yes, intentionally. Because there's been several accidental deaths by cars in my immediate vicinity, and people are constantly trying to murder me with a car. So I feel like I'm very close. I'm very close to the topic.
Have you ever seen anybody get hit by a car? Like you yourself? Like in the moment?
I feel like I must have. I've seen cars hit other cars like a bunch of times.
I've seen that so many times. I actually saw the worst fucking thing. I saw a woman, I don't know what happened to her, but she lost consciousness while driving, and her daughter was in the car with her, like screaming and like, oh,
God,
like it was really
that's
sad.
Horrible.
Yeah, but she just kind of rolled into another car, and then like the paramedics came, but it was fucked up. There's a lot of car trauma. Like if you live in a big city, you're gonna see some shit, you know?
Oh yeah. No, I don't know if I've seen someone be run over actually, because I know my mom tells me a story all the time of watching an old lady get murdered, getting run over, and like it ruining her life with PTSD. But like, I don't think I've seen that because I think I'd remember.
I saw a car accident when I was young. We were driving on the freeway. I was probably like not even 10, and these cars collided, and there was like a truck that had like the camper on it, and the camper fucking disengaged, like it came off the truck.
Oh my God.
And flipped upside down and went like shooting down the freeway, and there were 3 kids inside of it. They were all
so
fine.
stressful.
They were
Oh
all
my gosh.
fine. Yeah, but we all pulled over. The guy was like, the dad who was driving the truck was like screaming, and he ripped all his kids out. They were a little bloody, but like nobody even had to like go to the hospital. Like it was really, but it was fucking crazy.
Oh
That's
my
just wild.
gosh.
Wow. And I had a friend, an ex-boyfriend in Oregon, who got hit while riding his bike and was like in the hospital for like months, but did not die.
Oh my God.
So anyway, these will be intentional.
It'll be
Not
fun.
like-
Yes, intentional.
Yeah. But also, guys, please be careful with like driving. Don't be stupid. Like I do stupid shit. Everybody does.
Careful driving. Be careful walking.
Yeah. But please, everybody be careful. Anyway, that's it for this week. That's it for this list.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, I'm back. I'm sorry I was a little out of it. But hopefully moving forward we'll keep the train rolling and nobody gets sick anymore. Fuck being sick. I'm sick of being sick. Let's all be well.
Yeah, let's try.
Enjoy the summer. All right. Until the next episode,
stay
off our
list.
Staff them.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right.